Hello everyone. Welcome to Dr. J. Jaishankar's lecture series in Commerce, episode 4. The topic for today is decision making in business. What is decision making? Decision making is the process of identifying a particular alternative or selecting a particular alternative from among many alternatives available. The need for decision making will arise only when there are alternatives. For example, if a person wants to go for a movie and assuming that the movie is screened in many theaters, he has to decide where to go and watch the movie, whether in theater X, Y, or Z. There is scope for decision making. Supposing the movie is screened only in one theater, what is there to decide but to go and watch the movie in the theater where it is screened? It is very clear from this example that the existence of alternatives is what is important for a person to be able to make decision. If there are no alternatives, there will not be any scope for decision making at all. Decision making has got certain salient features. What are the salient features? Number 1, it is a goal-oriented activity. As far as a business is concerned, its ultimate goal is to make profits. Profits can be maximized by different methods. By maximizing sales, you can maximize profits. By cutting down cost of production and also cost of distribution, you can maximize sales. So different options are available. When it comes to buying a machinery, different models of the machinery may be available. So the business has to decide whether to go in for machinery model A, B or C. There is scope for decision making. When it comes to marketing its products, the business has to decide whether to market the products locally, that is, whether to cater to the local domestic market or national market or international market. There is scope for decision making. Secondly, decisions may be positive or negative. Supposing the business finds one of its products not doing so well in the market, the sales are declining, and it has taken the decision to discontinue its production. This will obviously be seen as a negative decision. So if there is scope for a revival of the market, then the business should see the possibility of revival of its market. But a decision to discontinue or abandon the product will obviously be seen as a negative decision. But the decision of a business to introduce a new product into the market, because already the business is successful marketing several products and it is thinking of coming out with one more product, that will be seen as a positive decision. Decision to employ additional staff to cope with the volume of work owing to expansion of business activities, the decision will be seen as a positive decision. But decision to do away with the services of some of the existing employees because it is not possible for the enterprise to give them work, such a decision obviously be seen as a negative decision. Thirdly, sometimes the decision may be not to decide. It is not yes or no, but no decision. This will happen when a decision is due on some sensitive matter. For example, some of the employees of the enterprise may have to be transferred to other branches where probably there is shortage of staff, and such a decision may not be taken well by the employees. Similarly, there may be revision of the shift timings, assuming that the enterprise works under the shift system. The revision of shift timings, again, a decision like this will be a sensitive decision. There will be resistance to it from the workers' side. So, such decisions will have to be carefully taken and should be announced to the employees at the appropriate time. Otherwise, there is going to be resistance. So, the HR department may decide that this is not the appropriate time to decide on such matters. So, the status quo will continue. No decision. That is what is the decision the HR department has taken, not to decide. Decision making can be both a science and an art. As science, what is important? The method of evolving the decision is important. And as an art, skill is required. For example, if the enterprise decides to revise the pay scales of its employees, a revised pay structure has to be prepared. For this, it has to adopt a suitable method. Maybe it will classify its employees into different categories. Let us say category A, B, and C. Then the pay scales have to be fixed for each category, taking into account what was the salary paid earlier and what is the expectation, and then inflation and so many other external factors will have to be taken into consideration, and by using an appropriate method, the pay scales of the employees will have to be determined. Now, once the pay scales are determined, the next step is to announce the same to the employees. So, this requires skill, because the HR manager has to so do it that he is able to get the consent of all the employees to the revised pay structure. So, there shall not be any resistance to the proposal. So, getting the consent of the employees without resistance requires skill on the part of the HR manager. So, this is probably the best example to show how decision making can both be a science and an art. Decision can also be situational. For the same problem, a decision would have been made last year, but this year a different decision has been made altogether, because the prevailing situation then, the prevailing situation now are not the same. Last year, the customers would have been allowed 3 months credit, but this year the enterprise has decided to have just 1 month credit period for all its customers and no credit at all for some of the customers because of their poor track record. Although the problem is the same, the decision made on 2 occasions is not the same. Decision may also be voluntary or induced. It is voluntary when the enterprise makes the decision on its own without any external force. It is induced when the decision is made owing to external force, pressure from outside. For example, if there is an industry and the manufacturing process in that industry causes, let us say, pollution, it results in environment pollution, and the owner of the establishment realizes the problem and he himself voluntarily installs, let us say, a pollution control device in his factory. Such a decision obviously is a voluntary decision. Supposing he doesn't make any effort to install such a device and afterwards he receives a notice from the pollution control authority stating that as the industrial activity causes pollution, and if no such device as the pollution control device is installed in the factory, license to the factory will be cancelled. Now the occupier, the owner of the factory has got no option but to have such a device installed in his factory. Here the decision is an induced one. Decision making is a complex mental exercise. Decision making is not a physical activity. It is an intellectual or a mental activity. The reason is the decision maker has to analyze various alternatives, see their merits and demerits, pros and cons, and find out which is the best alternative that should be applied in the given situation. So, this requires concentration of mind. So, it is an intellectual activity. And finally, decision making is also an ongoing process. It is a never ending process. As long as there is business, there will be scope for decision making always. Even in accounting, we all know that there is a concept called going concern concept. So, accounting statements are prepared based on the going concern concept. It says that the business will have an indefinite life. So, there is always, as long as there is business, there is always scope for decision making. It may be with respect to expansion of business, or maybe regarding discontinuation of some of the existing products of the business, and so on. Having seen the salient features of decision making, let us now move on to see what are all the steps involved in decision making. The process of decision making involves certain stages. We will see stage 1. Identifying the problem is the starting point of decision making. We make decisions when there is a problem and we want to find a solution to it. As far as a business is concerned, a decline in sales must be seen not as the actual problem, but it is only a symptom. Anything could have caused decline in sales. There may be some inherent fault in the product itself that could have resulted in decline in sales. The amount spent for sales promotion may not be adequate. The business has not concentrated much on promotional activities, or maybe the price is very high and consumers are not prepared to spend so much buying the company's product, or the channel of distribution is not appropriate, it is faulty. So, any of these factors could have caused decline in sales. So, the first step is to find out what has caused the problem. That is step number 1. Step number 2 is making an analysis of the problem. Now, having found out what exactly has caused decline in sales, now the decision maker will proceed further to carry out an analysis of the problem. Supposing lack of sales promotion, it has been found out, is the main cause for decline in sales. Now, the marketing department will carry out further analysis. It will find out whether the allocation made for advertisement, the budget for advertisement, media advertisement is adequate or not. It has to find out whether the marketing department has the required number of sales force. And thirdly, it also has to find out whether the salesmen who are employed in the company are really performing their job well. Then it also has to find out whether the medium of advertisement selected is correct. So, a detailed analysis of the actual problem is required at this stage. Step 3 or stage 3. At this stage, what is required is the decision maker has to find out alternate solutions. For example, since in this case, lack of sales promotion has been found to be the actual cause of the problem, the business has to decide whether further allocation for advertisement budget is possible. Then it may decide whether more salesmen may be employed, or maybe that whether to revise the target set for the salesman, whether that possibility exists or not will have to be seen. So the solution available to the problem, the various solutions available to the problem will have to be identified. Then, having identified the various solutions, the next stage is to make an evaluation of the alternative solutions. Supposing the business feels that no further allocation for advertisement budget is possible because already the business spends several crores of rupees on advertisement for media advertisement, so no further allocation is possible, and it has made an evaluation of the options, and it has found out that maybe some more salesmen may be employed, and the target set for them may be revised, may be increased. They are not doing their job so very efficiently. So having evaluated the alternatives, the next step is to select the one best alternative. And what is the one best alternative selected? More salesmen will have to be employed. So the job cannot be done with the existing sales force the business has, the company has. So additional salesmen will have to be employed, and their target will also be revised. Then implementing the decision. Now the marketing department will inform the HR department to recruit more salesmen for the company, and once they are inducted into the company, the marketing department will tell them the target that they have to achieve. If necessary, induction training may be given to them, and finally review of the progress of the decision is required. So once the salesmen start doing their job, maybe once in a month or once in 2 months, their performance and progress will have to be evaluated and see whether they are proceeding in the right direction, and the company shall measure the actual performance. It has some target set already. Measure actual performance, and this is what we do in control. Find out deviation, if any, from actual performance, and then take corrective action. So with an example, we have been in a position to see how to go about making and implementing decision in a workplace. So far we have seen in this discussion what is decision making, what are its key characteristics, and how to carry out, how to decide and implement the decision successfully. I am sure in the available time I have briefed you on the concept of decision making. I am sure the audience would have found the discussion quite useful. I'll be very happy to have your feedback, and we'll meet again next time in the next episode. So till such time, this is Dr. J. Jaishankar signing off.